The next vintage showcase is rapidly approaching, and I need as many reps as I can get. Stocks are up. Welcome back, vintage gamers, to a Friday evening vintage challenge. I'm going to do a little bit of Friday night gaming today because tomorrow I'm going to go play a standard Peeper RCQ with the homies. So it should be a fun time. So I'm going to utilize the choice I've been given by Daybreak Games, giving us more challenges during the week to try to play this Friday challenge instead of the normal Saturday challenge. I do have the showcase coming up next week, so we are getting try-hard serious mode practice in. This is my current pick as the best deck in the metagame, Lurrus Pio, featuring, of course, the very new and very strong 4 stock up. I top 8'd with this deck last weekend, not last weekend, one of the previous weekends, maybe it was last weekend, and we've made a few changes, nothing crazy. I think the only major change in the main is I took out a Lorien Revealed and I added a Chain of Vapor. There are a lot of Karn the Great Creator decks running around, so having just the 1 mana blue answer to Null Rod, Karn the Great Creator, and those kind of cards has proven to be a little bit better than having just Sink into Stupor as your bounce spell. I like Sink into Stupor. I think Sink into Stupor and Lorien Revealed are both good, especially with Thunder Trap Trainer, to be able to find lands off your trainer. However, I do feel like without having access to like some kind of really strong removal spell, this chain might serve us better than the previous configuration. So I believe the only change is 1 Lorien Revealed for 1 Chain of Vapor in the main. And then in the side, I've gone up to 2 Flusterstorms because there's lots of stock ups and POs running around. It's very good in the mirror. And then I changed one of the artifacts anti-Bazaar cards from a Nihil Spellbomb to a second Needle. The reason I want a second Needle is because it has a little bit more versatility versus the Flesh Raker Sensei's Top combo deck that has the 1 ring and Sensei's Tops. It's just a little bit more versatile. It's still going to be good against Bazaar, but it has like a couple more things going on. The last challenge of yesterday was like 20-something% Lurrus PO, 20-something% Flesh Raker. So that is the current metagame right now. We're looking at lots of Flesh Raker decks and lots of Lurrus PO decks. That's probably not going to be the case come the showcase next weekend. I believe the metagame will probably flatten back out, but we'll see. We might be up in round 1 against one of the big problems for this kind of deck, and also just a very good deck into the current metagame in Bug. Bug is a deck that answers Lurrus combo pretty well, and also is very good against Raker Shops as you get those main deck collector roofs. So we'll see how we can play out this tournament. See what we can learn ahead of the showcase next weekend. I'll see you in round 1. The legendary NYSE Open returns to Long Island in New York. This 9th installment will be a 15 proxy, $500 entry fee tournament where the top 8 will return home with 8 pieces of real unlimited power. Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxins will be part of this celebration of vintage. At 100 players, there'll be an additional wacky draft with classic booster packs from Ice Age to Onslaught, the NYC trophy, Karn altars, $1,000 in giveaways, dealers, and much, much more. Check out the link below for all the details. I hope to see you there. Let's battle. All right, welcome to round 1 of this Friday evening vintage challenge. We're up against a possible Bug opponent. We have a cat. So the problem I have with Breaker against Bug is that a lot of times they have a Death Rate Shaman in, so your Breaker doesn't actually hit the Oof, which is a little annoying. Probably going to keep this if I expect my opponent to be a slow blue deck that's attacking my mana. Night Zao says, getting back into Vintage after a long break. Got a few new players from Legacy as the 15 proxy rule. Yep, built Esper Lurrus and been watching your videos. Awesome. Welcome to the fold. It's really fun right now. I think Vintage is in a pretty good spot and lots of things you can try and lots of things to enjoy. So, and of course, proxy rule helps a lot there, especially if you're already a Legacy player. Let's see what opponent has for us here. I don't really like my hand, but my hand is actually kind of nice against something like Collector Roof. So maybe it'll help us play out a little bit of a longer game, find a way to remove a Collector Roof and go off. we'll see. Ooh, uh-oh. Is it Flesh Raker? It is Flesh Raker. Damn. So this is an interesting one because I think conceptually, the PO deck is not very, but at least favored in this matchup. And then the creator of this deck seems to think that their deck is favored in this matchup. So we'll see what we can play out and what we can learn from this game here today. Scrawling Crawler is definitely one of the more annoying pieces from their deck when we're trying to do stuff. It hurts us when we do like Vault Key combos or POing. Unfortunately, it's like not it's not like the highest card on the list of things I'd want to counter. That being said, I think I'm still going to counter it. I'm going to pitch this Time Walk so I can just untap, play a trainer, try to find like a Moxen so I can play a stock up and look to combo that way. I don't think it's like a runaway matchup as far like colorless combo decks are typically very poor into blue combo decks. But there's a lot of tools going on in that deck that make it a little bit better. I'm gonna put this C in the yard. Vamp. All right, well, I'm going to go for a trainer. They don't have any wasteland, so we can just go for underground seas. See what this trainer finds us. We do have like some amount of... We are somewhat pressed into playing a faster game because opponent does have a lot of ways to like kill us really fast, that kind of thing. I like the idea of Mox here to turn on our academy and start pushing us towards something powerful. We also have the ability to like vamp for an ancestral on our upkeep if we want to do that. Could also vamp for like a mana crypt. Don't know if that's worth it. Soul Ring. So if they play a One Ring here, like that's so slow. 6 mana. Flesh Raker. Okay. So if they have 2 tops, they kill us here. That's a very reasonable thing that could happen. That's a key. So not a top. Could be bait though. Opponent had a very nice start here with tons and tons of mana. 3 cards left in their hand. Oh, they have just Natty Vault Key. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly the problem with countering a Scrawling Crawler. Not much I could really have done here. Just my opponent had a nutty hand and we died. All right. Natty Vault Key is crazy, but it is what it is. We go to game 2. We get to bring in, I'm definitely always bringing in all the removal spells. I like bringing in all the needles. I like bringing in the sabotages. I'm not 100% about the Hercles and the negations. We'll see how those play. I definitely like getting rid of the island because they don't attack our mana. I do think keeping Bobble on the play is pretty reasonable. It's possible that taking out Sensei's Top in this game matchup, it makes sense if I'm looking to maybe needle top or ring. I was talking a little bit about it in the pregame, but some of these decks are playing Null Rods on the side now. I don't know if I kind of doubt my opponent will have the Null Rod plan yet. So it kind of makes me more likely to needle ring, but I don't need a Flusterstorm. I like a Misstep. Don't need a Probe. I definitely keeping Momentum Breaker. I don't feel like I need a Yawgmoth's Will. So negation is like good against the ring and top, but bad against the creature stuff. It's kind of a weird card. I don't know how I'm going to board all these cards in, actually. I don't really need a chain unless they board in Null Rod, but we have Seal Sabotage from that. My opponent is a Sensei's Top combo deck, so you want Momentum Misstep to counter one of their 4 Sensei's Tops. So like my opponent's deck is a aggro combo hybrid deck where they can attack your life total with Patchwork Automatons, Scrawling Crawlers, and Flesh Rakers. And then they also have a Flesh Raker combo of Flesh Raker plus 2 tops, and they also have the ring, and then they have Vault Key, and then they have Ring Key. So there's like a bunch of different things happening. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to. I don't want to go too much lower on mana, but what does this give us? 63. It's probably going to have to be like a trainer, and maybe we just only have 2 negations. Oh god, I still need another card. It's kind of crazy. I don't really know. Like, I don't want to cut any POs. Maybe it's just 2 trainers. Not really sure. Trainer has a nice thing where it blocks like a Patchwork Automaton, but not sure. Stock Up is not vintage playable. Stock Up is vintage extremely good. This hand is really problematic because of this Undercity Sewers. But gonna have to keep it anyways. If this Undercity Sewers was any other blue land, obviously we would be a lot happier. But I also can't really play this Bauble out. Maybe I can. Maybe I'm not too worried about dying on turn 1 if I have a Bauble. And I can crack it later after Ancestraling. I guess it doesn't really matter if I Ancestral or not. Or have it for Ancestral or not. I'm gonna have to crack it though if I want to draw like artifacts. I won't be able to force like a turn 1 crawler though. Is that enough to not want to do it? It's kind of a hard choice. Vamp. I don't want a vamp. I mean, it sucks because Bauble is, you want it on the play, right? I'm gonna try playing it. I'm not sure though. See what they have for us. 6 card hand. Ancient Tomb. Vamp for key? I think that's an unlikely game plan. I'm gonna crack this now because I want to be able to draw Moxen. We'll just draw key on our own. Yeah, like that. Boom. Not bad. Oh, we didn't hit a blue land though. I guess that's a little annoying. All right. Gotta be pretty judicious on what I choose to force from my other side. Does playing a Lurrus help me more than playing or buying a Lurrus help me more than playing a Time Vault? I don't think so. I guess this get Mindbreak Trapped is the big reason not to play it. Yeah, I guess probably you want to not play it because of Mindbreak Trap and just buy Lurrus instead. That was a mistake. All right, so I can't really counter anything other than a key here. I would never ever cast Breaker here. This should be killing creatures. Like, obviously it's bad if my opponent has a Flush Raker, but like if they play a Trawler or a Patchwork or whatever, like hitting a 1 card from their hand is like not very good. Do I need it as, and I wouldn't, I don't think you need it for an extra bounce or anything here. This is just as a winning PO as it is. So we stopped double Moxen with our Vexing Bauble. Are they just gonna like double? Oh my god, they're gonna play their own Bauble and key us. Yep. Maybe I should just counter it anyways. I'm not sure. I don't really like the idea of countering it, but I guess I should have just countered it anyways. I think I just want to find stuff. It's better to stock up first, but I can't hit Moxen anymore off the stock up. Yeah, I was supposed to just force this stupid Bauble. Like, I can't. I mean, now I have 2 pieces of card draw, though. So it's like, I don't know, that was kind of my thought process, but I almost don't like that either. If I were to stock up, there aren't actual non-zeros I can really hit from here, right? Because I boarded out top. I don't have bobble, so it's just like key vault. Obviously, there are time walks and stuff like that. I think I'm supposed to stock up. Needle, PO, force, snuff out, sabotage. So I just take needle, sabotage, needle the one ring, and pass with sabotage up. Well, I guess I can PO first. Anyways. Or do I wait on the PO? Because I can't replay. I mean, I might be able to sabotage the bobble anyways. Do I want to play a momentum breaker and a needle? Probably. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go momentum. Yeah, I could have played this game in a lot of different ways, and I think there was a couple different ways that had a lot of merit. Oh, I wonder if I'm supposed to play needle first, because they could, like, crack and trap. Almost don't even think that's bad for me. I probably should have at least considered it. Yeah, I'm playing a little too fast. I should play a little slower here. All right, so they have 1 card in hand, 1 per turn. They're taking 1 damage from the ring every turn, and I have a sabotage. Seems like a great spot for me. I also have Lurrus looping momentum breaker if I need to. This is how I envision most of these matchups going. That's certainly not a card that I want to resolve. But it's probably not killing me this turn, and I'm hopefully POing, killing them in the next turn. So I probably... There's no way their last card after this is a key, right? That's the thing I'm the most worried about. I feel like, do we think I'm killing them on this PO? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No 0-drop replay. Yeah. If they don't, if I don't need to use the sabotage, I will be sabotaging the bobble because the PO will 100% win. Yeah, I like this. I like this. Let this resolve. They exiled a tomb. And all right, I'm gonna cast bounce on this vexing bobble, and then I'm going to untap and I'm gonna PO and win. All right, I think if I had to go back, I may play this. I may have played this game differently if I was able to go back, but I'm gonna leave the 1 ring needle in play, just in case like something happens. All right, so we lost game 1 to the Natty Vault Key turn 1. We won game 2 with a pretty normal back and forth exchange for this matchup. We see that they're keeping in 1 ring, so it means they're not on the new Null Rod plan, which means our 2 needles get a lot better. Do we want to change anything? We just have so many good cards. It's really hard to take cards out. I'm a little worried. What's our blue count look like here? 14, 15, 19, 24. It's not bad. Bauble should probably come out on the draw. There's no real reason to have that. So the question is, do we want another blue card or do we want... I think we want a trainer. I do still value like blocking and jumping with trainers pretty highly. I just like ran out of slots in the... Fawn is like okay versus them. It hits like half of their good cards. I'm not sure we really want 3 Fawns. But it may be on the draw, you just want Fawn over trainer. It's possible. Certainly possible. Not really sure. You find the ring is the card that kills me? I'm not really convinced that's true. The ring is very slow. Ugh. 4 lands is so many lands. On the play, I'm keeping this hand for sure. But on the draw, this hand's probably not good enough. Man, why can't I have just like good hands? Stop that. This was definitely a keep on the play. Maybe not even definitely. Maybe it was still mulligan on the play too. Ugh. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan this hand. So sad, bro. All right, I'm going to 5. I'm just dead. I don't know. I just these hands are not, they're just non-functioning hands. Do I go to 4? Like this hand's not good. It doesn't do anything in the first 2 turns of the, I'm gonna mull the 4. Yeah, I'm gonna go to 4. All right. I don't know. That's just unfortunate. I think I wasn't able to play the game. They kept 7, we kept 4. Is there really anything I can do from this spot? It's kind of part of the reason you need to win some game 1s as well. If I'd drawn a Mox in there, I feel like we would have been in a decent spot. Because I would have been able to just Mox, kill this patchwork, really slows them down. But I can't dismember this thing, and at some point I'm going to run out of life. We'll see. If their turn, like, doesn't play... If their turn is not the 1 ring, then... If it's, like, Crawler... I can dismember Crawler, Momentum Breaker, Patchwork, buys me a lot of time to maybe vamp for an Ancestral, but it's looking really bad just because we have so many cards behind. It's a 1 ring. I mean, I can vamp for a Needle, but it's gonna be slow. I don't know. Like, are we ever beating a 7-card hand with any 4-card keep from our side? Maybe. Maybe if we had like a Theo hand. Mox, Mana Crypt, Mox, Pio. Yeah, okay. Well, there's not really much we could have done differently. We just did not have a hand here that let us play the game. And that can happen in Magic. Yeah. I mean, opponent high rolled and we didn't. There's not much to say. Now I can't even Momentum Breaker out of it. I can't really Hercules Recall out of this spot. Because they're just going to replay and redraw everything. It doesn't really help me to Hercules Recall. The fact that they have 2 mana and just play a Patchwork to protect this Patchwork is super bad too. There's like no way I can Volt Key out of this either. I guess I can vamp into a Volt Key. That's like my only way out, right? Just vamp into an Ancestral and have it be broken. What if I vamp for a Snuff Out? The problem is like it doesn't do anything. It would be Hercules Recall if I was trying to like prolong the game, but I'm not winning a game that's prolonged from this spot. I just have to Ancestral and pray. I need to hit like Mox, Time Walk, PO or something. We have outs from this spot, but they're just not very, they're pretty few and far between. Needle, if they activate top and activate top, I think we're just dead on board with this needle, but I'll try. I'll see if they like mess up the Sensei's top stuff. They should activate top before they draw and then replay top for turn. And then they should draw with top and replay top. Okay, so they don't know how to play with top and patchwork. But my opponent can just cast enough cards and we'll die. So it doesn't really matter. I do think that my sideboard change is good. All right, well, they just have like super lethal kill anyways, so it didn't matter. They didn't even equip the Nettle Cyst. Yeah. I think this is mostly just unfortunate luck because we didn't get to play game one because our opponent just had a crazy high roll. And then we didn't get to play game three because we just didn't have a keepable 7. And then obviously we had a very commanding game 2 in what I felt was like a more normal back and forth draw. That's Magic. Okay, we're just looking over our match. Game 1, we went and I said I think I would always force this crawler, and then we just didn't really have a hand to combat a turn 2 kill. I think that's acceptable. I can't imagine not forcing this crawler, so that's fine. And then game 3, obviously we didn't get to play. We just didn't have the cards. But game 2, there was a lot of choices, so I think it's worth going over. This hand is always a keep, but obviously it's super awkward. And then the very first thing is a decision on surveilling this Vamp Tutor or not. And the real thing to think about here is, will I later use this Vamp Tutor to go for Vault Key? And it's certainly worth considering. The problem is I'm always casting Ancestral next turn. There's no spot where I'm casting Vamp for Key because I won't be able to play Time Vault. So your prospect would have to be that you're going to cast this Vampiric Tutor somewhere further down the line after Ancestraling. And then just win with Vault Key that way instead of like, I don't know. The way I thought about this was that I would use the cards that I already had to just overwhelm my opponent, which is what did happen. Doesn't mean it will always happen. I don't know. My gut instinct here still says that I should bottom this Vamp Tutor, or graveyard the Vamp Tutor, but I could see the justification. And then our second thought is, are we supposed to play this Vexing Bauble or not? Because we go down on our Force of Will, but our opponent doesn't get to play any Moxes on turn 1. And I think the answer is, if we have it in, we should probably be playing this Vexing Bauble here. My opponent ended up playing a very weak turn 1 because of it. They had multiple Moxen in their hand. Don't want to be too, hindsight. It worked out, so it's correct, but certainly reasonable. Momentum Breaker is a draw. So yeah, then I cracked this Bauble first because I want to be able to Ancestral and play Moxen after. If I just Ancestral first, I guess I could do that anyways. So what's the upside of cracking Bauble first? Could draw Sapphire and play it off Sapphire or something. I don't know. I ended up drawing Jet, actually, which is pretty funny. Then definitely Ancestral, and then I'm left with this. So my Ancestral did not hit a blue source. It did hit Jet, Soul Ring, Mana Crypt. If we were to have kept the Vampiric Tutor, we would have drawn not the Mana Crypt, and we would have been in a position to win the game on the next turn with Force. So that's definitely something worth considering, because we would have had the PO and the stock up. Yeah, it would have worked out. That line would have also worked out. And then the question here is, like, there's a couple things. I can obviously play out Momentum Breaker, just get a random card from their hand, or I can play out Time Vault. Playing out Time Vault runs into Mindbreak Trap, which is maybe not a risk I would be willing to take, possibly, because if I get my Time Vault trapped here, it means I have to play a very long game to win, which has a lot higher risk for me. but I'm not sure. I don't really like the idea of playing Momentum Breaker out without creatures, but obviously Momentum Breaker in play is a thing that can get picked up with PO on the next turn. So definitely some considerations there. You could also just buy Lurrus here. You have double black. You have black, white. You can easily replay Lurrus, replay Bobble. I don't think replay Bobble makes a lot of sense. But if you're worried about getting your your Time Vault Mind Break trapped here, then it makes the most sense to just pick up Lurrus. Like you might pick up Lurrus here and then literally never use Lurrus the entire game, but that is probably fine. So I think if I were to go back, I probably wouldn't expose Time Vault to Mind Break Trap. Then we have this turn here where our opponent goes Mox after we undo the Bobble, and they play their own Bobble. And this just, I think, has to be forced. Because this force doesn't do anything anyways, and our way to win this game is probably just POing. So I think you just force this Bobble, and you just pray that they don't have a key. I mean, if they natural key you, well, key you twice, then they natural key you, will key you twice. The obvious upside of letting this resolve is that we get to keep both our stock up and our PO, so we have two pieces of ways to dig into our deck and find winning lines. So yeah, I think it makes sense to just force this Bobble and go for the PO. I think that makes the most sense. But obviously I let this resolve, which means I have to let that resolve, and I go to my turn, where then I have a lot of options. And I do think I like stock up first here. I think it's just going to give us way more information on how we want to play it out. Obviously, we can't like take a bunch of mocks in and play for like a larger PO play because of Bobble, which is definitely a little bit constraining, but we have lots of very strong control cards from this point. And we do hit the main two ones in this stock up with going to 5 deep. We hit the Sabotage and the Needle. And then from there, everything is pretty straightforward, and it makes a lot of sense, and it seems pretty free. Oh yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, I think this makes sense. So, I mean, even in this game, which we were commandingly winning pretty much the whole time, besides like the one spot where, oh god, if they draw a key, we lose. We had multiple choices that would have probably both produced winning lines, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is like, obviously this is an ancestral hand, right? So it's definitely on the higher side of variance towards us. But I wouldn't say this is an amazing hand. If this hand could cast Ancestral on turn one with a non-tap blue land, it's probably a very good hand, all things considered. But I wouldn't say like, we definitely had a lot of advantages from this spot. I'm not sure you can use it as like a prime example of how the matchup is going to play, but this is exactly how I've had most of the matchups play out, where your cards are just better than theirs. But if you go to game 3 and then you just don't have any cards that do anything in your opening hand, like I can't ever keep. I mean, this is 5 land, 0 mana redraw, 1 counterspell. Like that's not a playable hand. And then obviously our 6 card hand is not remotely keepable with no anything in it. And then our 5 card hand is going to lose. So, I mean, this is just unfortunate. That's just bad variance. But I think the most important game here is game 2, because I do think there's at least 3 or 4 different choices you could diverge. And this game ends up slightly different depending on which ones you choose. So, pretty interesting. Okay, round 2, we have to play against Crazy Diamond. That's an unfortunate matchup. It will probably be a Lurrus PO mirror, but Crazy Diamond has very large range inside of blue. So we'll have to see. I will elect to play first and reveal my cat. I'm gonna keep it, but I'm not thrilled about it. Am I keeping it? Like, I feel like the chance of me vamping for an Ancestral is higher. Oh, my opponent did not reveal Lurrus. All right, well. I'm pretty sure I'm vamping for Ancestral. But maybe I'm just supposed to go Island Manifold Key and see what I draw next turn. Maybe we'll do that. Let's see. I'm not sure. Underground Sea, Doomsday? Yeah, Doomsday. All right. Not me, just spoke it into existence. I do think Doomsday looks like it's very good into this current metagame for what it's worth. I think it's favored versus Lurrus, PO, and Raker, so... Alright, well... I'm gonna pass the turn and see what happens. I hope I don't lose. CC, 7 cards. I think I'm forced to counter a Doomsday, which is not a great place to be. But I can technically pay for a Fluster, I guess. Here's Dark Ritual. Yeah, I will force your Doomsday. Oh, I can't pay for a Fluster. But then maybe they wouldn't kill me. Oh, they just have force backup. Okay. You got it. I don't know, man. Doomsday. I think Doomsday is still a top tier deck in Vintage. I know no one's really playing it right now, but if Stock Up hadn't been printed, I would have snapped played Doomsday again in the showcase. But now that Stock Up's out, probably gonna play PO deck. But even now, I think Doomsday is a viable choice over playing PO. So we'll see. I would expect that they would not have Stock Ups in their deck. I think Stock Up draws a lot of its power from Moxen, and Doomsday is not a very good Moxen deck. I'm kind of hoping my opponent hasn't have anything here, but doesn't seem likely. We'll see what happens. My opponent topped on Preordained, so... But I guess their 3 cards could technically be land, right? I'm not sure. They need to build a pile that plays around, like, some amount of stuff, but shouldn't be too hard. And, like, if they simply play around nothing and they have a cantrip, they just straight up win, so... And then for me, if my opponent does end up having a Flusterstorm, I guess they would have cast Flusterstorm if they had it, so they probably don't have a Flusterstorm. I guess they could have Spell Pierce, technically. They don't have the negation. They have the Chain of Vapor in the main. They have a Duress in the main, a Necropotence in the main. They just have a cantrip. I guess that means we're dead. It's quite unfortunate. Yeah, this is just Ponder into Gush. Yeah. I mean, we did not draw a blue card for turn, so we could not possibly have won this game. I don't even think our keep is bad because it has a force versus Doomsday. It's hard to ask for more than that. And we technically had the ability to combo kill there, so... we are just not getting a lot of chances to play Vintage tonight. We'll see if we can't pull something together. Obviously, we have a nice sideboard here. 2 Flusterstorms because of the stock ups that are going around are quite a good card to board in. So I have 2 negations, 2 Flusterstorms. I have Momentum Breaker, which can beat Murktide, so I can't even die to Murktide. Yeah, we could absolutely have gone for lead on C and hold up Vamp. I think it's worse, which is why I didn't do it, but it's definitely a possibility of something we could have done. Looks like 4 counter spells coming in, and then Island is coming out. I still think Vexing Bauble looks fine, but it might be the worst card here. Maybe the Lorien revealed is fine to go. Is the Lorien better than Sink into Stupor? Probably not. Sink is a pseudo counter spell. Maybe it's just 1 Momentum Breaker is gone, leaving us with a Momentum Breaker if we need to get rid of a Murktide for some reason, and then all of our action and tons of counter magic. Yeah, I mean, Of the PO decks that I've made in my life, this is one of the better ones. The only thing it's really missing compared to some of my other PO decks is Dress Down, which is a card we can put back in at some point if we want. This hand's a little annoying because it doesn't actually do anything powerful, but I don't think you're allowed to mulligan it either. I think you keep just the bauble. I think the bauble's fine. Sewer go. Mox is a great draw there. Mox is an incredible draw there. Mox is so good here. Obviously my opponent can have some number of dazes. I can't remember if I looked at for dazes in game 1. I don't think it matters though, because I think I'm always casting it no matter what. Especially while they're tapped out. If I get dazed, I get dazed. Negation PO Opal Bauble. I can go Opal Bauble and then snap stock up next turn. I have double force up for this turn, and I technically have a mana. If I have to use everything, I still have Lurrus Bauble follow up. I think this makes the most sense to me. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna not use this bauble. This is just a brilliant stock up game. I love this card. This card is so strong. It's so good. We might still lose, though. My opponent is Doomsday, so let's see what happens. If they lead Dark Ritual Doomsday, we will go Negation Pitch Sink. And then if they have follow-up, then, of course, we'll force Snap. I'm very happy with... I mean, we got very lucky, obviously. We drew a Mox. But the Mox draw was just what we needed to play this game. It was kind of what I was hoping for in round 1, game 1, actually. But you can't always draw Mox. All right, my opponent pondered, and they can fetch away. So the question now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can't crack this bauble. Awesome. There's always room for more people making content. Happy to hear it. Feel free to post your video. If they're vintage, feel free to post them in the Discord. Put them in the articles and video section. So they fetched away their 2 other cards, and now they're passing. Snap, stock up. Ooh, Flusterstorm. That seems really good here. Seems great. I will have a question if like opponent counters this. Will I actually fluster here? Wow, no, just resolved. These cards, on the other hand, are very not good. Wow. What do I want to do with that? I can technically use this sink as a land drop. So I can still hold up Fluster Force. If I want to, I can vamp into anything I want with the Mishra's Bauble. I don't know what to do. Maybe I vamp for an Ancestral. Seems not great. Maybe I just hold everything and I go Vault Key. Is there a problem with Time Vault? Well, here's the line of thinking. The number one thing I have to do is get myself another turn. So the question is, what's the best way for me to get myself another turn? If, like, can I hold open double force fluster? I can't. Because if I were to try to do that, I would have to tap out of fluster or play a sync. Well, I can't do that. I can't hold open double force fluster. So at that point, I just have force fluster, which it might be enough. In which case, I can just take vamp time vault. We could find a random blue card on top with bobble. That's true. But that would mean not playing our sync. Maybe that's okay. So at that point, would we still take Time Vault Vamp and upkeep Vamp? Possibly. Is upkeep Vamp better than... I mean, upkeep Vamp, we might just not have enough mana next turn, right? Because we lose our mana on our Opal, and we lose our mana on our Bauble. So we only make 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. If we use up all of our spells, we won't actually have enough mana to go... I guess we could go Vamp off of this, Key off of this. 1, 2, 3. It would be... Sorry, 1, 2... Vamp off of this, Key off of this. Gives me additional mana here, and then additional 1, 2, 3 mana here. So I would have exactly enough. Okay. I think that makes sense then. Let's take Time Vault and Vamp, and then I think we're going to blind draw with Bauble and try to have double force Fluster. I think that makes the most sense. Dig. No blue card. Kind of unlikely that our top 6 cards would all be non-blue, but definitely possible. I really wanted to pass this turn with 2 forces and a Flusterstorm. Maybe that's me being too paranoid. It's possible. Doomsday has scarred me for life. Time Walk. Jesus. Is there like value in just flustering this Time Walk? Or is that crazy, crazy aggressive? We know they have Dig 5 cards. Feels like it's too aggressive, but it also feels right. Which I don't really know how to reconcile that in my brain. But then I still don't have very good protection for my own play. No, I don't think so. It's not like I have an assured win on my next turn if I fluster there. I'm pretty worried about this game. Should I have just taken Demonic? Yeah, Flustering plays in a Dark Ritual there too. That's true. Could give them a use for a second Dark Ritual. They don't even need. They might even need the first Dark Ritual, considering they have triple black already. There's the Dark Ritual. Demonic Tutor. They could play a longer game here. Get like an Ancestral off this, and then use Dig Through Time or something. They could get the Duress off of this. Unfortunately, we're not even in a good spot if we get Duress, because we don't have like a hand that's good against it. I think we're in a losing spot. There's the duress. I guess it's actually force. I mean, there's no way I'm ever using Sink as a land because I have a Mox now. I feel like keeping Flusterstorm in my hand. I mean, if my opponent has like another Force and Dark Ritual Doomsday and Cantrip, then we die, right? But if I think keeping. Oh, this is a dig in response. Oh, it's Gush in response, and they still have dig up. I'm so dead, bro. I'm so dead. Their hand is land, dig, 3 unknowns. Draw 2 unknowns. There's just no way I come out of this. Maybe the play was force the time walk. Maybe the play was force the time walk and then just try to combo with Flusterstorm because I have an Opal. That's probably correct. I think I need to go back and I should have forced the time walk and then tried to push through with a Flusterstorm. That's crazy. That's really hard to see. I just am so dead. I don't know. Like something's gonna happen and it's not gonna be good for me. Even if I don't die this turn, there's like no way I'm resolving anything on the next turn either. That second stock up was so bad. All right, so now they just get all of the counter magic out of my hand and I lose. There's just no counterplay to this, right? Yeah, I just die. Yeah, give him a chance to fuck up, I guess. I just needed that stock up to hit me blue cards, right? I just needed blue cards off that stock up, and then I just didn't hit any blue cards off of it, and didn't hit any blue cards off of my blind draw. I could have vamped and drawn a blue card if I wanted to, but then it prevents me from winning. But that also would have been bad too, because maybe we're. I mean, they've used their gush, so they're gonna have to hit exactly Dark Ritual, Dark Ritual, Doomsday, Street Wraith, or Probe. I guess there's theoretically a world where I don't die. But also, like, how am I going to resolve a spell that doesn't kill me? Like, what am I even doing? Am I just gonna blind draw instead? Like, well, I don't have a way to build back this card disadvantage here. I'm so far behind. My opponent has 1 land and 5 unknowns. Right. Exactly. So I didn't. Oh my god, I'm living a turn. Does that mean I'm casting a vamp at the end of turn here? Like, is this good? I don't think so. If I get a key and resolve a key, then I have I have enough to hardcast a force, which is at least something. Please counter it. Wait, no, I'm not even. It's not even good for me if he counters it. So it's not. It's not good no matter anything. No matter what, it's not even good. It's all bad. It's all horrible. We're being bullied. Kind of an awful challenge, huh? I don't know. I think it's best if he counters it. All right. Well, I want to draw an action spell on the top or a key. So like a key or a PO stock up or something. I'm very happy that my opponent chose to this. To be fair, I think I was going to get a key and hold up force, but that wasn't going to help me if my opponent had a Flusterstorm, so... Scroll. That's interesting. They have a land and 4 unknowns. I could technically Merchant and Ancestral. I'm attacking. I could do nothing. I could Merchant for a Flusterstorm and hold up Flusterstorm. I think I'm supposed to play a Time Vault. I have 4 mana to work with. I have 5 mana to work with, which is actually short of POing. I'm going to cast it. If they have a negation, they should just negate it. I'm going to take Ancestral and cast it, targeting myself. I think this gives me the best chance of winning the game instead of not losing the game. I guess if they have Mental Misstep, it's so bad for me. But it was always so bad for me. If they have Force, blue card, it means that they have 1 land and 2 unknowns, which is not that bad for me. And if this resolves, it means I can draw blue cards, I can draw more action, I have a 2 mana to work with, I have a land drop to work with. If we win this, okay, they have Force blue card, pitching Preordain. So their hand is land 2 unknowns. They know our hand is Force Opal. Okay. Your move. Land Doomsday? No, land pass. Okay. Am I ever skipping a turn? No. I don't think so. Trainer. They could have negation, maybe. So I can play Lurrus and Bobble. I can play a 6 mana trainer. I could even play around Days and play a 6 mana trainer with 1 mana floating. I could... I mean, they know I have a Force. They don't know I have a trainer. So I think just playing Lurrus makes the most sense because I'll still have Force after. Do I play around Days? I think so. They have not F6'd. Bobble. Well, now we get to know their top card as well. Doomsday. So what life total does this Doomsday get put at? 6? That's kind of annoying. I don't think Doomsday 2 unknowns. We have Ancestral Vamp in our Yogwill. We can Vamp for a Time Walk and win. So there's no point in countering this. Unless they have double cantrip as their last 2 cards. Yeah, or key, sure. If their last 2 cards are double cantrip, we would want to counter. I'm countering this. Well, if they have Fluster, then we still untap and Yogwill and win, right? So... And we want our Yogwill to resolve. So I think we just force this, pitch the trainer that we drew, and see what happens. Crazy Crazy said my dig through time was force preordain 5 lands. Oh, wow. Oh, the issue of letting resolve if they have Fluster and no cantrip. So they pass and they Fluster my Yogwill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pay 1. And yeah, I mean, it gets like a little dicey. I don't think we have a guaranteed win at that point, though we're still probably favored. Our decks are failing us. Wild. Okay, let's play game 3. I mean, Doomsday matches that are not instant wins are quite fun, so I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm running it back. That was a really good game. I feel like that was a very interesting game. Totally worth the... Oh no, not like this, bro. I think this is a keep, but we're gonna die on turn 1. Please cast a cantrip. Please. Bro, I played Doomsday. I know, man. I just know. You know. Yo, bomb. Thank you for the 10 gifted. I appreciate that. Got a bunch of gifted subs recently. It's really awesome. Congrats to the 10 of you who have ad-free viewing, thanks to Bomb. Duress is really annoying here, because if they take Mana Vault, it's actually quite bad for me, right? But I guess if they take Flusterstorm, it's also pretty bad for me. This is a sick Duress. This is super good. This is almost more gifted than I've ever had ever. I don't usually get a lot of gifted. I don't know. I don't ask. Maybe that's why. I appreciate that, Bomb, and especially appreciate Light Confidant from last night. Not last night, Wednesday night. Light Confidant donated like 30 or 25 or 35, some large number. Whoa! Oh, baby. Thank you, Lane. 10 more. Man with a plan. Oh, I see a powerful wizard in chat. Congrats. What did we lose? We lost the Mana Vault. Wow. That's an interesting choice. That is a super interesting choice. Okay. So our opponent has decided to stop us from doing Mana Vault things, but we get to have a Flusterstorm, but they get to know about the Flusterstorm. Horse. Okay, this is gonna be a nice long protracted game. So is there any downside to holding Opal? I think not. seems good. Is there a downside to playing fetch land? I guess theoretically, Dark Ritual opposition agent, maybe. I still want to play Undercity Sewers if I can help it, though, so... I think I'm supposed to play fetch land. I also don't want to draw Undercity Sewers. Dark Ritual. If they're casting this Dark Ritual, it means they have a Necropotence, right? So I should just fluster this. Like, you don't look at my hand, let me have Flusterstorm without knowing... I know they don't know about Force, but isn't it better to just cash in Fluster? You really want to use my Force to do that? I guess. I don't know. I mean, like, it's clearly Necro. I guess the pains of knowing almost all the information are apparent here. They can't force back. I just feel like this might strand my Flusterstorm is the problem. I'm a little worried about stranding my Flusterstorm. Because it's like they have perfect knowledge, right? So... I'm not sure. PO. That's terrible. It's great. That's been that. Vamp. I mean, that goes pretty well with my Flusterstorm, so... Because it's clearly Necro, the rest of the spells in their deck can be flustered. Presumably, yes. I don't know, like, they just operate with 100% knowledge of Flusterstorm the whole game. I feel like you just play around it, right? Like, if they just cast Ancestral here... I guess I actually have Vamp Fluster for that, but... oh, yeah, I get the reasoning. I don't know. Okay, they just have to run into the Flusterstorm? Oh, okay. Or maybe they'll, like, pay and force or something. But that would be okay, I think. I think this is just bait. They can't pay, so I guess I don't know what. I mean, it'd be like mental misstep plus. I guess I can't. There's no way. I don't think I need to, right? Like, responding with mental... I guess it just plays around days in the same way. They're tapped out, so... like, it opens me up to getting... Maybe? Maybe I am supposed to. Well, now I get my Vamp dazed. So, yeah. I guess I was supposed to. I was supposed to daze and then fluster. Alright, I was supposed to Vamp and then fluster. Okay. You're right. You're right. Yep. You're totally right. I should have vamped first. I thought about it, couldn't think of a good reason, and went past it, but I missed the good reason. So I actually have lots of choices here. I can Ancestral. I can go Mana Crypt, stock up. I can go Saga, stock up. There's a lot of good choices here. I kind of like Saga, stock up. It gives me a threat and lets me try to get a force. I don't have 6 mana, so I can't get a Lurrus going with like a Lotus. I think the options are Saga, Ancestral. That might be it. I just think there's a pretty high chance of Ancestral being a problem. And if their last cards are like Force of Negation blue cards, I'm going to try Saga. My gut instinct is telling me Saga, and I don't know. I'll try it. I think the best thing I can do is hit like a Force blue card here. I hit Negation. Sick. So what's my best pairing here? Right? Crypt opens up PO lines, yeah. I can't take my Crypt here, though. I have to take blue card. So the question is it better to take negation PO, or is it better to take negation trainer? I'm never playing trainer, so it's the problem with trainer is it's only ever being pitched to negation. Whereas PO, theoretically, after I make constructs, I can still PO. We are currently down 2 POs, but this game doesn't need to, like, we don't need to cast PO. And if I pitch PO to negation, it's not even that bad. I think taking PO has some upside, where taking trainer doesn't have upside. That's my thinking. Because, like, I could very easily get, like, a crypt at the end of this saga, and then I can go crypt opal PO if I get to that point, which maybe I will never get to that point, but I think that's okay. Another Doomsday. Stock up is broken, though. Is stock up not completely broken? Like, that card. Oh, they had Street Wraith. Wow. Stock up is so good. I drew another negation. Holy hell. It's so good, too. I mean, I've drawn very well this game. I've drawn very well this game. But stock up, wow, what a card. Do they have a third? It's a time walk, yeah. Blue, top Preordain. So I can get construct, and maybe get Lotus to hold up negation. See what we draw. It's certainly possible. I'm not sure it's better is my problem. I'm honestly not sure it's better, because I'm opening myself up to Spell Pierce and negation, and they absolutely could have had a negation stranded in their hand in this whole game, where if I just make 2 constructs, attack, and get a Lotus, I can hold up negation for the rest of the, or I can keep holding up a negation. And I lose a construct, so the clock is way smaller. So my instincts here are telling me that I'm supposed to make a construct and hold up a negation, which is feels weird, I know, but I don't think I'm supposed to go for Vault Key there off of Saga. This probably signals that I have negation for what it's worth. I can also play this Vault next turn. If I draw on Moxen, it's lethal attack. They're making me guess if they have it. I have to force this no matter what. Oh, what a bastard. If I don't counter this and they have the Oracle in their hand, I lose. So I have to counter this. That's so sick. Nice play. Nice, nice. I mean, this has been a really awesome match. So oh, what is this? Fluster? If they fluster this, then they can demonic for combo piece. Interesting. If they have land oracle, then this still kills me, but yeah, I mean, you got what you got. What do you got? What do you got for me here? I'm intrigued to find out what the hell happens here. This should be very interesting. They got Ancestral. 12 cards deep for Ancestral. Cast Ancestral. All right, so now I can't win. That's not a bad draw, but it's not necessarily a good draw either. Especially because they've already used well, I mean, this Ancestral's in their yard, but like if they just make a gush pile, but if they need a Dark Ritual for some reason, I don't know. It's gonna be close. Well, they can't Doomsday Street Wraith into Gush because they don't have enough life. So they might have to do a 1-mana cantrip anyways. What a crazy set. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, can't complain. I didn't play perfectly either. I had definitely some small chances to improve. I wonder what he's thinking about. Maybe he has a Doomsday or something. If he has a Oracle, can't block because not enough. Because the Time Vault gives 4 damage on each construct. What a wild match. I got pretty lucky. I hit real nice on stock up into into top deck negation. After my opponent took a duress at the start of this game for Mana Vault and had to run into Flusterstorm, after I top decked Force for the Necro, yeah, I mean, this game is something else. Thinking back all the times I top decked just enough counter magic to win. Street Wraith Cycle. Wow. Vamp for Saga was I think a thing I can pat myself on the back. So can I counter this? Always? Can I always counter this? I think I can always counter this. Ancestral and Consult are both gone. I guess if my opponent's last cards are Dark Ritual, Doomsday, 1-mana cantrip is the problem. Whereas if I wait, my opponent would go to 1. So I think this resolves. Is that right? Because Street Wraith is off and Force after Doomsday is off. I guess if they had like Dark Ritual, Duress, Doomsday, 1 mana cantrip. That would be a problem. That's true. Like, Mint of Misstep doesn't really cover everything here most of the time. What if they cruise? Maybe like they can draw into like a theoretical dress down, so I'm supposed to counter it. They could just have Gush in their hand and then go Lotus, Demonic, Doomsday, Gush. And I die? Okay, I think I was supposed to counter it. I think I was supposed to counter it. Ah, man. I mean, now I can counter Dark Ritual. So if they don't have Lotus. Yeah, I mean, I think there are lines both ways, but it does seem better to just counter it. With Ancestral and Consult gone, I feel like the risk is way lower to just counter it. I mean, now they could have Black Lotus, yeah, Sapphire 1 mana cantrip, maybe. Wild. GG's. Oh wow, that was what a match. That's one of my favorite matches in a long time. I feel like that was super interesting. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, on to round 3 of 6. I have a cat. My opponent does not have a cat. Can I keep this against my opponent does not have a cat? If my opponent had a cat, I would snap off this keep. But against my opponent does not have a cat, I'm not sure that I'm allowed to do that. I'm leaning towards this hand is not good enough. I'm just going to take a quick check. I have never seen this player before, but they have 1 recording on 2024 of Dredge and 1 of Oath. This hand is bad against both of those decks. So I'm going to... I mean, it's not the worst hand against Dredge, but I guess if they grief your Mana Vault, it's pretty bad. I'm going to mulligan this hand and try for something better. I mean, this is basically the same hand, but better, right? So I'm just going to keep this hand, bottom the Force. I guess if they're Oath, I don't want to bottom the Force. So maybe I just bottom this island. No, they have Chancellor of the Annex. Well, that's not good. All right, well. I see. All right, so I run the 0 into the Bauble and the Chancellor. I fetch a non-basic and play Soul Ring Mana Vault top. Not bad. So I do this. It gets countered by Bauble, but it also gets the Chancellor trigger. Oh, I don't want to do that. All right. Soul Ring. Sure. That's not a good timing to do that. Mana Vault. They can't Mental Misstep or Trap. All right. Oh, I have a lot of mana. I technically could force if they cracked. I wouldn't say we're fine. But we're not dead. Which is something. I will naturally draw here. I want to be able to play a stock up if I draw it. Another land. So I think I like Well, I can't fetch a basic, actually, because I want to be able to play Lurrus. I think I just, like, buy Lurrus. Maybe I just spin and fetch spin. The problem is, like, I guess if I PO, I'm probably winning. But that would have to be next turn anyways. They did human. So that probably means Peacekeeper or like a combination of Peacekeeper plus Seasoned Engineer. I'll buy Lurrus. I'm not really worried about getting wastelanded from this spot. I guess I don't really have any replay value, but I could always draw Momentum Breaker. It's still not a very good upkeep spin. It's gonna have to be a main phase spin again. Draw Bobble. Oh, all right. That's a good sign. Okay, they're gonna die then. All right. Draw. Jet. I guess we spin first, but I have Lurrus replay. Yeah. I want Bobble. Oh, play the jet. I guess I should wait until I use my Bobble in case they have a Solitude. I'm going to draw twice, so I'm going to draw to the Force. So I draw with top, play a Bobble, look at their top card. It's a Chrome Mox. Maybe I have to force that Chrome Mox. Play a Lurrus, play a Bobble, look at the top. I still need to draw two, so yeah, I have to look at the top again. I guess I mean, I'm not getting rid of my top, so it probably doesn't change anything, yeah. My other card's what? Manifold Key? So I could fetch that away if I want to. So I know they don't have a land, so this Chrome Mox always buys me. I think I just always force this Chrome Mox. And then I don't think I want key. I'm going to just sewers and look for a PO. I guess maybe that's bad because I could have used my fetch from my top, but I still have Bobble and a top. It should be fine, I would think. Trainer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess we do that. I'll take PO. And I'll take Force. Chain? Chain might even be better. Chain. Bobble. Check your top. Oh, maybe I should have checked the top card first before doing all that. I probably should have checked the top card first before doing all that. But Chain's pretty good against like Peacekeeper plus land. Okay. Oh, I guess if they name Chain, yeah. Yeah, that is Mono White Initiative, baby. All right, that was pretty sweet. Sick Offspring Trainer. Comes up quite a bit. All right, I have 3 good removal spells to bring in. I have to bring in Sabotage no matter what because of Null Rod, I think. And then I have to consider maybe on the draw bringing in these negations as well. I could theoretically bring in this Hercule as well. So lots of things to consider here. Fluster is the worst. Mental Misstep is bad. Probe is bad. Bobble on the draw is bad. Yogwill is pretty bad. Now what? I don't need to bring in all of these cards. I definitely need to bring in these first 5. This next 3 are a little bit more variable. I could theoretically bring in just like a second negation. I don't want to overload on negations. Hercule's Recall is like a little expensive, a little bit more than I want to be doing. The things I would think about getting rid of are probably stock ups are the most clunky card still in our deck. I guess Sensei's top or Opal. Second, having an Opal is pretty clunky against possible null run. I could go like this. Certainly makes my POs worse. Something to think about. Maybe I do this. Feels like I'm close to overboarding here, which I'm a little worried about. I'm gonna try this. But I'm a little worried about overboarding here. Okay, I have a cat, I have a force, I have a demonic, I have a stock up. Seems like a perfectly reasonable hand. We are on the draw though, so we might just get overrun. We'll see. What'd they do? They kept. All right, let's see what happens. All right, no Chancellor, so we do have the option of forcing, losing our stock up, which is not the biggest deal because we could, yeah, I'm just got to force that. It's a Black Lotus from Mono White. You have to just force these things. Have a Ruby. Have an Ancient Tomb. Pass. Okay, not bad. Basic Island. Underground Sea. My opponent plays an Archon of Emeria. I want to still be able to demonic next turn. So I think I go Underground Sea, Soul Ring, Time Vault. And if my opponent doesn't have an Archon of Emeria or doesn't have the ability to march of the otherworldly like, we just win. Here comes Cavern. Cavern is on Archon, so I played around this perfectly by getting my Black Source in play. I won't be able to win the game this turn, but I can still cast my Demonic for key. Is it better than casting Stock Up? If I get Null Rodded, they wouldn't have had a Null Rod on turn 1, or they would have cast it. So they would have to draw Null Rod this turn or last turn. They could theoretically draw White Source into Witch Enchanter or March. Stock Up could theoretically draw me blue card Force to give me more versatility. I might get Wastelanded if that happens and not be able to Demonic, though. I think I'm going to Demonic for key. I'm going to play the tap land because I can always play the island next turn if I want to use it for mana, where this starts to advance me if something bad happens. I think the biggest problem with stocking up is getting wastelanded, which seems like something that could very easily happen. Probably more easily than Null Rod. Just another Archon? Okay, you lost. And there's the Wasteland. I think I played this game excellently. And honestly, I could see people messing this game up. I think that was just a great game for me. I had 3 choices in this game, and I think I picked the right ones each time. Oh, very happy about that one. Onward to round 4 of 6. Possible Model Weight Initiative Gamer on the play with a cat. That hand looks bad, but I have a Sink into Stupor, so it's actually good. So I'm going to play Sink into Stupor untapped, play a Thundertrap Trainer, try to hit a Mox, so then I can play Merchant for Ancestral. Actually, Merchant for PO, and then have Force on their turn. Seems really good. I missed on a Mox. That is not good. That's really bad, actually, because I can't get a land off of this either. That's a really bad miss, because I can't, like, Ancestral on the next turn if I don't hit correctly, but, I mean, I guess I have double Force now. There's very few things I'd want to misstep, but I don't think I need another Force, so I'm going to take the mental misstep, just in case they have, like, a bobble or something. So I'm going to probably pitch it anyways. It also doesn't reveal that I have Force. I was really hoping to hit Mox there. The first Chrome Mox. I think the first Chrome Mox resolves. Interesting. Well, Mox is my best draw for sure. Non-Opal Moxin. Oh! Yes, good, good. I mean, to be fair, I missed on my Thundertrap Trainer. Do I need a stock up in my life? I guess so. Seems fine. I don't actually care about this card. I'm just going to let this resolve. I just don't care about this card at all. Maybe I should just countered it because I don't have anything else that matters to care about. Momentum Breaker. Sensei's Top. Guess I'll take Momentum Breaker and Sensei's Top. I don't think I'm going to play the Momentum Breaker right now. I'm going to get a creature in play. Then if they like plus onto it, I can just Momentum Break and take the stuff. I don't need more Force of Wills, man. I actually have too many cards here. Whatever. Get rid of Misstep and Fluster. I guess that's worse than a top. I don't know. I have double Force and to chain. It's probably all that I need. Ooh, Cavern off the top? Wow. All right. Cavern off the top is pretty bad. It actually makes my line of not countering this pretty bad. Huh. I mean, I'm still fine. But I could lose. Should I just play both Momentum Breakers? I can still spin and find a PO, so I should probably spin first. Yogg will... Doesn't actually win this turn, but it probably wins next turn, so... Let's do that. Momentum Breaker. Momentum Breaker. Attack. Oh, wait, the shuffles. Okay. Um, I mean, this is fine. What I should have done is momentum breaker, attack, then spin, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at this game because I don't think I played it optimally now I mean, it doesn't need to be played optimally because my deck is so much stronger, but I definitely did not play this optimally. It looks like I should have forced the White Plume Adventure because my opponent can top deck a Cavern of Souls. I didn't really consider that. I guess my opponent could theoretically have had Cavern of Souls the whole time. They just kind of played in an interesting order. So yeah, I should have forced the White Plume Adventure, even though I didn't need to force the White Plume Adventure, especially because I was resolving a PO anyways. So that was a bad play. And then my PO kind of just drew me a lot of air. But I'm still winning this game by a lot, right? Like, even if my opponent has an uncounterable Seasoned Engineer, they draw a card or whatever, it doesn't change the fact that I have infinite things, the ability to search and find something. I can also get Lurrus, replay Momentum Breaker. Because I'm getting an island here, so I'm passing with Chain up and the ability to sack Momentum Breaker. Every Momentum Breaker is going to gain me 2 or 3 life, so I can't really die from damage. So I can't really lose from here, but it doesn't mean I shouldn't play optimally. But yeah, mono white initiative is, I don't know. I don't think this deck is very good. I think it had its flash in the pan, and flash in the pan. I think it had its time in the sun and is a flash in the pan. Is that what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to say something. How did we board, chat? We went Bobble, we went Misstep, we went Flusterstorm, Probe, Yogwill, Top, Opal, and then only brought in 1 negation. How to speak. Is this gonna be another mono white matchup where we play 2 2-minute games? Definitely keeping this hand. All right, what do you got for me? Emerald. Bobble, sure. Cavern, okay. Archon. Archon's a problem. Archon's a big problem. What do I do about Archon? There's like no sequencing here that really helps me versus Archon. I guess I'm just supposed to get one of my fetch lands in play. So I have to. So Steel Sabotage is not for countering Moxen on the draw. It's for bouncing Null Rods. Though it can obviously still counter Moxen on turn 2 after you force 1 or something. Yeah, this is a problem. I'm going to get wasted out of this game. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is just Archon of a Mirror on the play. There's not much I can really do about it. Obviously, we'll fetch an Undercity Sewers, see if we can find anything that we can actually cast on our turn. And then we'll play Sink into Stupor. Do I want a Sink into Stupor? I feel like the answer is no. I feel like I'm never going to have the mana to play it. Or do I really want to have 4 lands? 5 lands? No. I think I want to grave it. Maybe that's greedy. Could be. Bobble's a terrible draw, though. Alright, so I get wastelanded. Hopefully they don't follow this up with like a 3-drop of some kind here. Hopefully they're stuck on mana. No, they have double wasteland. Okay. I mean, maybe I should have kept the Sink into Stupor. My bad. They cracked a Bobble? Huh? Really? Feels greedy. Saga? Yeah. I think we can come back from this game, though. Cracking the bauble, I would never crack the bauble there. I know that you don't have... I mean, you have a white source, though. I don't know. Feels weird. I think I would keep the bauble. You have the white source already. You're going to draw action. What are they going to name? Momentum Breaker? We time walk? Yeah. So this is Saga Time Walk? Isn't that just nuts here? I don't really understand, but I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, this looks really bad for my opponent, though. They're going to play a Seasoned Engineer here. That's very good for my opponent. Oh, wait, no, they can't, because Chrome Mox is their one spell for the turn. Oh, we're fine. We're going to win this game. Never mind. Paper only play. I can fetch a basic off of this. I can get a Lotus and play a Momentum Breaker, maybe. I could get a Lurrus, maybe. I don't want to... I guess drawing my island is fine. Let's see what we draw. Actually, if I had kept in the Hercules Recall, which I might have, it's actually kind of a funny play here. So what is my best search? I have Sapphire, Island. Oh, I have only mana. So if I want to play the Momentum Breaker this turn, I can't search up an Underground Sea. So I would have to take Lotus. I could just... If we assume a Seasoned Engineer is coming, then I do still want a Peace Breaker, Momentum Breaker. I still want a Momentum Breaker. And I'm still... Well, I won't actually have black mana to play Lurrus later. But I do have a key for unblockable. Well, Jet does not let me play Momentum Breaker this turn, and I think if I give my opponent too much time and too many creatures, I could end up in a problematic situation. Because I can only play one spell this turn, and I can only fetch for basic island. I guess my opponent could theoretically sack the Archon, but then I'm in a commanding position, so... So yeah, I mean, Manifold or Soul Ring or something is good as well. My biggest problem with that is, like, if I don't play Momentum Breaker this turn and my opponent plays a Seasoned Engineer with an unblockable Peacekeeper, I think I lose the race. I haven't done the math, but, like, they hit back for 4... Oh, wait. I'm not going to be able to get a basic. So maybe I'm supposed to attack with Construct first to get my basic. That's kind of annoying too. If they just block, then it's super fine. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna get a Black Lotus, and I'm gonna attack with the Construct. Well, I don't think I need to kill the Archon to win the game. Like, these Constructs are gonna win the game by themselves. Like, I think these just straight up win the game by themselves. So as long as I don't die in a race because of Seasoned Engineer. Oh, there's no dungeon. Oh, you're right. All right, well, that doesn't change anything. It gives me 1 more damage, so. Yes. I did lose a speed, though. Yeah, so they lose that. Now they don't have an attacker this turn, and I'm just like, we're really far ahead, right? Yeah, okay, this is fine. I think this is what I want. I think the way I lose this game is my opponent clocks me out with Seasoned Engineer. So I feel like playing Momentum Breaker makes the most sense. That's my logic anyways. Because I don't care about this Archon anymore because my opponent they wastelanded my 2 non-sagas and then I saga made constructs. I just don't think Mono White is a very playable deck right now. I would not recommend playing Mono White. Here we go, round 5 of 6. We are still in contention to play top 8. We are up against Harvey here, who has the die roll and was last seen on Raker Shops. I've got a nice forts and a removal spell. I like this hand a lot. Definitely keeping this. Okay, so I'm definitely keeping this hand. Now, if my opponent leads turn 1 Scrawly Crawly, we can just momentum break it, or even turn 1 Patchwork. So I actually think this hand is one of our better hands against Raker Shops. Because we have a force, we have one of our removal spells, we have fast mana to play on turn 1, so we don't get like behind Glaring Flesh Raker and tokens. This is a good hand. This is a good hand against basically every non-Lurrus deck besides Dredge. You're gonna hear that a lot, actually. Because this hand doesn't combo. Though this hand could combo. Just needs a stock up or a PO, really. Not bad. All right, see what opponent's got for us here. City of Traders, so probably Raker Shops. Patchwork Automaton, super okay with us. And Pass, that's great for us. City of Traders, Patchwork Automaton. Love that for us. Yogwill. Could be interesting. All right. Break this guy's momentum. Not bad. So I need to crack this momentum at some point so I can bring it back with Yogwill. Grim Monolith is fine. You're going to lose your city, I assume. 3 mana. Manifold Key. What are the merits of countering this Manifold Key? I feel like the merit of countering this Manifold Key is actually quite high. They could play like Workshop. They could play like Workshop Ring, though. I think I have to let it go. I feel like I just want to counter threats. I think Manifold Key would be... top? Top, I think I have to counter. Don't really want them to go off with a top here. I think that's a force target. Oh no, is it going to be a ring? Oh, that's even worse. All right. Yeah, I think Momentum Breaker is quite good in Vintage because you bring it back with Lurrus and you pick it up with PO. I don't know. Like, if I let the top resolve, I'm in for a really long and drawn-out game where I'm in trouble, but Karn is crazy. I mean, it's super unlikely they play a Karn. Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm countering the wrong spells, but it just felt really bad to let that top resolve. Not sure. But I mean, Karn is like one of the worst possible things that could resolve against us. It's very, very good. Grafdigger's Cage. Interesting. I mean, I'm so far behind. There's just like no chance. All right, let's see what they got. They have a Talent Gates. All right, so the question is 1, 2, 3, 4. Down to 3, up to 6. So if they have a Lattice, they can play Lattice. This is pretty bad for me. If they don't have a Lattice, we can play a Lurrus and attack this Karn. But they could just get a Argenta Masticore, maybe. That they will have for sure. But then they might not have the ability to kill Lurrus, but they can just block. But maybe we get enough mana to... I guess Yogwill is pretty bad against Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely paid the price for countering that top, but I wasn't exactly expecting Academy Karn. Do they have a Lattice? No, Argenta Masticore. Okay. Are they going to hold the Talon? They're going to hold the Talon. Snapcaster Mage. That actually might kill the Karn is the funniest part about that. I mean, that might actually work. Though they could actually hold open... they can actually hold open this Talon Gate, which is kind of interesting. Let's see what happens. All right, they are pitching a Scrawling Crawler, really, to kill the Momentum Breaker? Interesting. I don't think I would ever do that. Surprising. But they held the Talon last time. I mean, they're trying to figure out why I'm not buying Lurrus, why I'm not paying mana for the Momentum Breaker. Feels like they should be able to sniff this out, but we'll see. What is this art? This art's sick. I didn't know this art existed. I kind of want it. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, looks like the secondary mode on Talons is going to get us, sadly. I don't really know. I feel like I need to draw my second Momentum Breaker, I guess. That's my out here. Maybe they don't know the secondary mode here. Yeah, they have key on tap as well. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of things have to go right for us here. And I'm pretty willing to just let them make a mistake. They're going to go for the key on tap. Sure. I don't know. I have to get pretty lucky to get out of this game. The question just like becomes, was I stupid in countering the Sensei's top when my opponent could all of a sudden make 7 mana and play Tolarian Karn, I guess. I don't know. These feel like I'm making incorrect force choices. But it also feels like, come on, Tolarian Karn. Pretty brutal. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could have countered key as well. That's true. Would that have been better? Don't know. I'd have to do the math. Why would you concede? This game was still winnable. I had multiple draws that could have won the game still. Like if I draw Ancestral into second Momentum Breaker, killing Argenta Masticore, play Lurrus, attack Karn. Like, you're not allowed to concede this game. Like now is probably the first point I would allow you to concede this game if I was coaching you. He would have still been able to cast Karn. That's unfortunate. So he has to use this top to save this Mastic Ore. I did. Okay. All right. It's kind of a rough one. That reminds me a lot of the first match we played against Raker Shops, where I countered something and then immediately died to one of the more powerful things that could have happened. It certainly makes me question my choices. Island, Probe, Bluster, Yogwill, Lorian. No, Tabernacle. You don't bring Tabernacle in Vintage unless your opponent is on Dredge. I cannot even remember what the other cards were I was bringing in. Videos. I took out the trainers, and I only brought in one negation, and I took out Chain. Again, it depends a little bit on how they choose to board. What else did I take out? I think I put one back in. One trainer. Oh no, I'm 61. What am I missing? Yogwill Force. I took out Bobble on the draw. Blusters are all gone. Oh, I took out a top because I was theoretically possibly needling top. And that's what I was doing. All right, let's do this. This might be overboarding. I'm still trying to figure out the exact plan I want. I mean, they only have one Karn. Like, all the threats that Karn was by far the worst possible thing that could have happened. I guess maybe like a theoretical like Volt Key Natural is worse, but like Karn is close to the worst possible thing that could have happened. So the question is, how many Mind Break traps is my opponent playing? Up to two possible Mind Break traps. I think I could beat a ring from that point. That I don't think a ring is bad. Like, a ring is not good for me, but I can beat a ring. Karn is very hard for me to beat. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to play around Mind Break Trap or not. Oh, they have F6, so I'm not playing around Mind Break Trap. Just Ancestral. Okay, I have removal. That's not great. Ancestral drawing me a bunch of lands here. I boarded out a Lorien Revealed and an island. So this is seriously flooding. Well, I don't know if he knows that I'm on PO or not. I just assume everyone knows I'm on PO because my deck list is face up for every tournament. All right, this Momentum Breaker is going to be a little bad now, and I can't snuff this out in response because I went for Academy. It's not ideal. Yeah. Did I have the snuff out in my hand? Then I probably should have. I was thinking about being able to use more blue mana, but maybe that was too optimistic. Yeah, if I had played C, I'd be in a better spot, though, for sure. What is your last card? Is it the ring? Okay. Well, it's not that bad, but it's also not good for me. I mean, they don't have anything. So, like, POs win the game. Stock up win the game. Lurrus might just win the game. My opponent's hand is not very good. It looks good, but I don't think it's very good. All right, PO. I should just win the game, probably. I only have... So I could play the Momentum Breaker, but then I don't have enough mana to play PO. I can just PO for 2, losing 2 mana. And I'd have to pay life for stock. I don't have to pay life for Snuff Out. I have a very awkward mana count. I think I just have to PO for 2. I'm not really happy about this. I mean, what am I doing waiting a turn? Am I hard casting Snuff Out? Am I buying Lurrus? Am I just casting Momentum Breaker? Is it worth it to wait a turn? What's the worst that could happen? Key, ring, scrawling crawler. There's a lot of bad things that could happen. I'm pretty sure I have to just PO now. I'm pretty confident that's correct. That's awful. My deck is just fucking falling apart at the seams, man. I don't understand. Okay. I mean, sure. Stock up might be too late, but... So is snuffing this out worth it? Yeah, I guess you just do it now. Okay. I don't know if this PO is, this stock up's gonna be fast enough. Okay, that's not that bad. 6 damage. This Momentum Breaker doesn't save me from an attack. Need this to be good. I think I can afford to use my black mana. I just cast stock up before in case I hit like mana crypt PO. What the? How is my deck? What is going on? So if I take PO Dismember, I can Dismember paying 2 life to save 3 life and live. Unless they draw an artifact, which would be 7, 9 damage. And then I would go to... Does Dismember save me? Well, I'm currently dead on board, so I can't take PO. My opponent has 7 damage. And I don't have enough mana to play a PO right now. So, I mean, I'm forced into PO Dismember. I just don't know if Dismember actually saves me. I can't cast the PO. It needs to be a land. No, it's an enchantment. So I think this kills me exactly. Or do I have enough to... I can't momentum break either, right? Because I only have 3 mana. This kills me exactly for 4. I mean, this game is entirely lost because I played Tolarian Academy on turn 1. Right? Like, the game is 100% my fault because I was supposed to play Underground Sea on turn 1. And because I didn't play Underground Sea on turn 1, I lost this game. I mean, obviously, I bricked extremely hard, but I can't control that. I can only control my actions. And I think... All right, what does it look like? I guess I'm just playing like shit today. Like, well, all these Raker matches feel like super winnable, and then I just play like shit and die, I guess. My opponent had 3 cards in hand, and it was Tolarian Karn. I don't know. That one doesn't feel that bad. I mean, clearly the fuck up here was I was not supposed to play Tolarian Academy. It's not about a 1-mana blue spell. There's like a... If I Ancestral here and I draw Mox... I guess I can't draw Trainer because I cut Trainer, so maybe there's not actually draws. But like, there's a bunch of things I can still play. If I draw Mox, I can buy Lurrus. I can do a ton of things. Time Walk, Lurrus. Like, there's a legit reason I played the Tolarian Academy, but like, if I just play, like, I should play, because I don't have any action in my hand, I should play to the 1 card I do have, which is the Snuff Out, and play around the worst case scenario of my opponent playing a turn 1 Flesh Raker. Because if I can just snuff out this Flesh Raker right here, they're left with... I mean, I guess they play everything out still, right? I just take an extra couple damage. Well, they don't get to play the Nettle Cyst out. Or, no, they do. I guess they get to play everything out. So the only thing that this saves me is I take like 10... How much less damage? I guess I don't take any less damage. Because I take 4 damage. And I'm at 16. It saves me 3 spawn tokens. And then it can theoretically mean I can actually momentum breaker this further down the line. Yeah, sure. I mean, I was thinking about hard casting a Snuff Out in this game, but I couldn't like play 2 spells this turn because everything was 4 and 2. So I could buy Lurrus here instead of playing Sewers, which would at least give me a blocker for a turn. They have a key, though. I don't feel like getting a Lurrus blocker is good here. Well, I think it's a legitimate point of contention on whether I'm supposed to play Tolarian here or not. Like, if I was going to play around Mindbreak Trap, I wouldn't play Tolarian here. I would play Underground Sea. I would go Underground Sea, Jet, Merchant Scroll, and then I'd play Sapphire. And I don't think they would trap the Sapphire. And then I would pass to their turn in Ancestral. So, like, if I was playing around Mindbreak Trap, I actually would have 100% played Underground Sea. But because I wasn't playing around Mindbreak Trap, my whole thought process was I want to have an extra mana in case I can cast the spells off of my thing. Well, I mean, CRK, that's only because I scryed nothing. What if the top card was a land? Like scry keep on top, yeah, that didn't change anything. But what if the top card was bad? What if it was a Mox or something? Like, there's a reason I went for Undercity Sewers here. I don't think playing Lurrus does anything, right? Because they can always make this unblockable every single turn anyways. So it doesn't actually change anything to buy a Lurrus. I guess I get to attack for 3, so I get 3 life back. I mean, I'm not sure how much that changes the game. I don't get a momentum breaker in play, so I don't have the ability to sack it or PO it back if I draw another PO. Oh, yeah, okay. The Lurrus doesn't gain any life because they have block sack. Yeah, I don't think Lurrus does anything here. So I think playing cat, getting cat is wrong. Yeah, Raker is the only creature that I would want to snuff out immediately. What? I don't think I think it's an incorrect play. Like, if it doesn't do anything, then Sewers is always right. Because I'm playing with the top of my deck. If the card on the top of my deck is a card that doesn't help me win the game, then I need to bottom it. I need to graveyard it. So, like, I think getting cat is just incorrect here. Like, my opponent did draw a creature, so the cat would actually, the cat would actually do something. But they can always, like, sack Eldrazi spawn to key as well. So, like, I don't mind this play. I think the first thing that matters is this Tolarian Academy. And I do think there's a reason to play the Tolarian Academy. So I have to choose whether I want to play around turn 1 Fleshraker or if I want to play towards my ancestral draws. That's at least debatable. And then I cast Stock Up. My Stock Up just missed. Well, that doesn't do anything, Greg, because I can't block with Lurrus because my opponent can use Manifold Key to make Nettlecyst unblockable every turn. And I can't attack with Lurrus and gain life because my opponent can sack with a spawn every turn. I don't actually think there will ever be a point in this game where Lurrus can lifelink. It does turn out that my opponent drew a creature, so if I were to block that creature, it would have worked for this exact outcome, but like in general, I think it wouldn't normally. So I still think that making sure my top card is a hit makes sense. This needed to be Mox PO. I mean, it just needed to be Mox PO, right? Or it could have been Hurkyl's Recall, or it could have been Steel Sabotage, or it could have been... I mean, there's a lot of things this could have been, but these 5 cards don't do it. I don't think I'm allowed to stock up off of my Tolarian mana. And frankly, that wouldn't have helped me in this spot. I mean, it would have helped me in this exact spot because I would have been able to cast Dismember and save 2 life and go to my next turn. But I think it's correct to use my non-Tolarian mana so that I can draw Mox PO, right? I feel like that makes sense to me. But I could have, if I had used Tolarian plus this, I could have had 3 mana for a Dismember to save 5 life, which would have gotten me to another turn here. And this is a brutal outcome because I drew a lot of cards in this game. I drew 7 more cards than I drew like 11 more cards than my opponent. And I just didn't draw good cards. But like I said, I think I'm not sure if it's just like the way I play Magic or like well, I'm trying to combo. That's what I made the plays to combo. But it's possible like the correct play here is to play around Mindbreak Track no matter what. Like my opponent F6, so I went all in, but maybe I shouldn't have done that. Like maybe I mean, it's hard to ask for a better starting hand than Mox Academy Merchant Scroll. Like, that's a really good starting hand. It just so happens that Ancestral Recall is worse than Stock Up. Like, if this Merchant Scroll was a Stock Up, I'd win the game. It just so happens that Ancestral Recall is worse than Stock Up. You heard it here first. Wait, what is this Stock Up hit, by the way? If this is Stock Up instead of, I mean, I don't shuffle, so who knows? But like, if it was this exact game, it would have been land, momentum breaker, and then the next two draws, PO. Actually, I mean, I would have gotten through a bunch of land, so I probably win, but like, yeah, okay. I mean, I don't mind this play where I use the sewers, and I understand why I used Academy here. I don't know which is correct, to be perfectly honest with you. The percentage chance of them having a turn one Raker is fairly high, and the upside of having an additional 1 blue mana is, I guess it comes down to like, how good is the upside of having an additional 1 blue mana? What 3-card combinations like truly reward me for having 1 blue mana? And I don't actually think the number of 3-card combinations are super high, because it has to be a Mox I don't already have, which is 2 Moxes are gone, and then Bauble doesn't count. So one of the 3 cards has to be one of these 7 cards. And then it has to be like, I think I misevaluated. I think the upside of having a blue mana here is not as high as the upside of eliminating one of the ways I can lose, which is a broken Fleshraker draw. Like, my opponent could have had Fleshraker top, right? Like, that's not a likely outcome. Having a 3-card combo on turn 1 is not like super likely. But it's a thing that could have happened. And so I think holding open Snuff Out and eliminating a bunch of worst case scenarios is probably better here than the 2 mana. Also because I cut trainers, right? So I actually don't have as many 2 mana combo plays to even make. Like, even if I don't have Mox Trainer anymore, and I'm not gonna play Mox Momentum Breaker. So yeah, I think this was wrong. I think I'm gonna say that this was an incorrect choice, and I actually think I lost this game. Well, I mean, I'm not sure I would have won this game if I had the Snuff Out, but I think part of the reason I lost this game is because I played the wrong land on turn 1. That's vintage. Okay, here we go. 6th and final round of this vintage challenge. It's unlikely we win and Breaker in, but we're gonna give it our best shot. No reason not to try. And let's see what we can do here. Our opponent might be on mono white again. This hand is broken. I keep. I have not had very many broken stock up hands today, which has been definitely less good for my chances. But I've had good enough hands. I think if I had with these same hands and better play, I would definitely be in either a 4-1, probably a 4-1 position. So you can only control your choices, and some of the choices we made today have been subpar. My opponent revealed double Chancellor of the Annex. All right, so it's mono white for the 3rd time. I don't know why people are playing this deck, but here we are. So the question becomes, do we throw away our Gataxian Probe, or do we throw away our Pearl? That's not an easy choice either. Would I rather have a card or a Mox? But I would need to get another blue card to force on their turn. Don't really want to. I can, whatever card I lose, I can bring back with Yogwill. Theoretically later. I can bring them both back if I throw away Pearl and I use Probe. So I think Pearl. And I think I'm going to use Probe. Or maybe I want to hold it for Force. It's so tough. It's cool, though. I mean, I know their hand is Chancellor, Chancellor. I don't think I'm probing first. I think I'm stocking up. And I think I'm fetching an Underground Sea. So let's do that. P.O. Bobble. Interesting. Do I have to play around Wasteland? Do I have to, like, take P.O. Misty? Because I chose to fetch Underground Sea? But I don't want to fetch and play Will, because I want to be able to get my Strand back out of my yard. I think it's going to be Misty P.O., and then I feel that I have to hold the Probe and keep this P.O. as my long-term game plan. But maybe I don't need to, because I have a stock up in my yard. If I can build towards a Yogg-Will stock up. Like, I don't want to pitch the Probe to Force, because I'd like to be able to replay Probe with Yogg-Will. Yeah, I changed my mind. I'm going to Probe. Solitude, Plains, Ancient Tomb, Archon. That hand is garbage. Wow. Plains go. Okay. Demonic Tutor. Yeah, seems good. Is Lotus better or is Ancestral better? I mean, everything is winning. What's the best one? Demonic, Lotus, one black floating, replay, Pearl, Lotus, Demonic. Or I can go Demonic, Fetch, Ancestral. I mean, it's all so good. I don't know. I'm gonna try Lotus. Or I don't know. I feel like whatever I do is winning, but it just feels stupid. I don't know. Demonic, Lotus, black mana, one black mana, one white mana, Flooded Strand, Probe, a new Lotus. I don't have to crack the Lotus. I can just cast stock up, go to my next turn, so that maybe I can Lurrus back. But I'm probably not going to Lurrus, because my opponent has a Solitude. I could just go Ancestral, and then on the next turn I can Yogg-Will back Ancestral Probe. I mean, is that better than Lotus? It might be. I can, if I do this, I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going to worry myself over this. I think it's Ancestral, but it's okay. No, I think it's Ancestral, but this is cooler. I do actually have a Demonic Tutor here. They draw another Archon. What's my best play, though? Is it Demonic Ancestral? And then I can stock up if I want to? I don't know. Does it matter? I don't know. This uses the whole graveyard. I feel like there's must have been a way to, like, guarantee a Vault Key win or something, but whatever. Oh, I might overdraw here, actually. My bad. Yeah, This play was terrible. I mean, I'm gonna win, but whatever. I'm done. Let's get to the next game. I'm at that point of the night where I just stop. I mean, I feel like a lot of things were probably more correct than what I chose to do. It's okay. I'll be all right. Am I gonna force a solitude on Lurrus because it's free? I mean, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. The amount it matters is it does not matter. I don't want to worry about this when there's just no point in worrying about this. Like, I know for a fact that the choices I made here were not correct, but it just is not worth the brain power to figure out what they were. What? I did not mean to do that. Yeah. I think I'm getting tired. I think that's the problem. Okay. Sorry about that, shot. If this was like round one, I would have sat there with you and tried to figure out the best possible line. I think demonic ancestral is probably the one that strikes me as the best possible line from just like a generic cards perspective, because my opponent's doing nothing fast and I have multiple forces. It allows me to then Yagwas will back a ancestral later. But I do think that demonic lotus is totally acceptable line. I did run into some problems with hand size, so that was a little annoying. But there might even be a line that involves like DTing for a key and going slow, and then Yogwill DTing for a time vault. Like, I'm pretty sure all of the lines win because my opponent's playing mono white initiative and I'm playing a blue deck. That being said, let's not overdo it here. We got to make sure that we still win. And there are definitely a lot of ways you can lose to mono white initiative. So, mental misstep, probe, blusterstorm, bauble, Yogwill. I'm already forgetting what we were doing with mono white here. Was it like Mox Opal top or something? Should probably just write it down at some point. Mox Opal top. Okay, I was correct. I think I need to be able to bounce Null Rod, Andy, which is why I have Sabotage on the draw, even though I don't like it because it doesn't counter artifacts like Moxen. I definitely understand that it's not good, as good on the draw, But my deck is pretty bad against Null Rod, all things considered. It's because I'm not playing white, I lose out on a lot of answers. Like, I'm even going to bring in this Hercules. I don't really like the idea of playing 3 negations anyways. Even though negation isn't also an answer to Rod, I just feel like if you overload on negations too much, it's a problem. This is not a hand I'm allowed to mulligan, but it is a hand that can lose. It's a very powerful hand, but there's lots of different sequences here that can go badly. We do have Vamp for a removal spell, though, and we have the ability to theoretically PO pretty early. So, opponent has revealed a Chancellor and a Mox. And a Mox. Not a great sign if they're thinking. Archon is on the Mox? You have another Archon? Please don't play something that's not an Archon here. Oh. Not bad. Not bad. This is against the spirit of the format. I think Archon's better here, but... I can just tutor for a removal spell. I'm going to just throw the Ruby into it. Yeah, I would rather play an Archon than a Boromir, I think. But we'll see how that plays out. In general, like, I understand you want to play your Chalice effect on turn 1, but Archon is just so much more broken, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. Sure. I guess this prevents them from getting momentum break on the Boromir, but... So this cost me a lot of life. But I can get a Dismember, and I go to 10. And then I can go to 7, and then I can PO for 2. Then I can replay both, and then look at stocking up. I can't snuff out because it'd get countered. I can't snuff out, it would get countered. So I have to go Dismember. All right, so I'm gonna go Dismember. And I'm gonna Dismember this thing. You should do whatever makes you happy. They should sack that. The ring tempts me. Or tempts them, maybe. Someone's getting tempted. I think it's definitely worth 3 life to... Mox. I'm not gonna play around Mindbreak Trap. I'm gonna PO because I can replay. Okay, I have 7 life to work with. My opponent has a Still Moon Cavalier. How much does this get plus? 2? 1? Oh, okay. I think I need to win on this next turn, if I had to guess. I mean, I got a lot of mana. Just Time Vault is the easiest, for sure. I can look at my top card with Bauble and then choose to fetch it away if I want. That would mean I can't get Tolarian Academy. I can't beat onboard Cavalier with a Lurrus because the Cavalier would get the Forge and then get in for 5 and kill me. So I can't block with Lurrus. I could theoretically double removal spell. Is bobbling my top worth it? I guess I could always use the bobble for a PO. I think I'm just gonna stock up. PO. Thunder Trap. I'm gonna go with PO. Stock up is not a fair magic card, is it? I don't have any blue mana at the moment, but there's my academy. That makes me feel good. Still haven't won this game though. So can I stock up first here? Should I stock up first here? Surely the answer to that question is yes. Two more things to PO. Also blue mana. I win. I am not sure that Mono White Initiative is a playable deck, chat. I would highly recommend not registering it. It's just not good. If you want to play an aggro deck, I think the Raker Shops deck is more than acceptable. I mean, Steel Moon Cavalier is not a bad card in Vintage. It serves a reasonable role. I don't think I would bring it in against me, but maybe they didn't have... I mean, they should have cards to take out. So now I just need to find a Momentum Breaker, loop it twice, and then kill them with Lurrus. Merchant Scroll for... Sure. How about another PO? Why not? Let's buy a cat. Play a cat. Play a ruby. PO everything. Here's my Momentum Breaker. Key. Turn. Play this. Attack a creature. Do it again next turn. Then we'll be fine. All right, we have demonstrated how we can beat the Steel Moon Cavalier, and we have won the game. So this was a 4-2. It was a very fake 4-2 because we beat 3 mono white players, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. We played a very tough, very interesting 3-game set with Crazy Diamond on Doomsday, which we won. And then we lost 2 matches to Raker Shops where I felt like I made choices that prohibited us from being able to win. The first match versus Raker Shops was opponent Volt keys us turn 1. The second was a really nice one where I played out a longer game and won with an Ancestral. And then the third, I mulliganed to 4 and died. So kind of just a split on that one and then variance. And then this one, I made the wrong choice with Tolarian Academy. I can't remember what the other, or not this one. This one, I made the wrong choice with Tolarian Academy in this game, and then maybe the wrong choice with Force of Will in this game. So I'm not sure, because I do like the deck and the current board plan for Raker Shops, but we could always make it better. Like, one of the things that is problematic for colorless decks is if they find themselves in a situation where they need to make their deck better against something, it can be very hard to find cards that will help. Whereas if you're playing a blue deck, there's always ways to make things better. If I really want to, I can play Bowmaster like CRK said. I can play more removal, more consigns, more like if I ever felt like the matchup was bad, there's lots of things we can do to fix it. At the moment, I wouldn't say it's bad. I think it's slightly favored, maybe more than slightly favored, but I'm going to probably leave it as it is for now. The things that we changed in this event were we cut a Lorien revealed and we played a Chain of Vapor. Did it matter in this league at all, in this challenge? I don't... It came up once, maybe. And I don't think we ever drew a chain when we would have wanted a Lorien, so not a huge difference there. And then I do think the swap out for the Spell Bomb for the Needle to be a little bit better against Raker made sense and looked like it would be good. Didn't really come up too much in those. I definitely... One of the things... Yeah, but I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to make my other matchups worse to make my matchup versus your deck better. If anything, I'd put like a sideboard Bowmaster or something. Because like one of the best things that we learned tonight is that our removal suite is more than enough to beat mono white. I was wondering if this amount of removal was enough to beat mono white, and it is. So that makes me really happy. We didn't end up playing any of the mirror, so the Flusterstorms and negations are the Flusterstorms only really came in against Doomsday. So like a Flusterstorm, if we wanted to, could become, you know, a Steel Sabotage, a Consigned in Memory, a Bowmaster, or whatever. And then we didn't play against Jewel, so we only ever boarded in 2 negations against... We were only ever boarding 2 negations in against Doomsday. We were only boarding 1 of the negations in against CRK deck. Now, that could be wrong, but it is kind of how everything lined up in a way that made sense. We didn't get to use our Hercules Recall, too, which could be very, very good at buying tons of time against Patchworks and Nettlecysts and nonsense. So, yeah, I'm not willing to make significant changes just because we lost 2 matches today. One where I mulliganed like crazy, and one where I think I made the wrong choices. So I think I'm not willing to do any significant changes to the list right now. Now, that might change before next weekend's showcase. We'll have to. I do want to see how the metagame adapts. I want to know what gets played today, what gets played in the next 2 days before the showcase. I don't think the showcase metagame is going to look like the metagame of especially yesterday. Yesterday's metagame was very polarized, but I can't imagine the showcase is going to be that much so. Is this deck good against Dredge in general? I think it's only okay, because I'm not particularly overwhelming my opponent with Dredge hate. I wouldn't say this is like one of the better combo builds against Dredge, the way it's currently constructed. But it's not going to like lose a ton to Dredge. Like, I have good cards. I have good combos on my own. Yeah, I'm not like worried about playing against Dredge, but I also don't think I would want to sign up to play against Dredge. When I play this deck, I want to see my opponent on, honestly, Raker Shops. I want to see my opponent on Lurrus Control, Mono White Initiative. I don't really want to see my opponent on Jewel, even though I think the Jewel matchup is probably fine. I just feel like I just randomly died to Jordan every time I play against Jewel. I'm a little worried about like a Golo shop stack, but just because like we don't actually focus on it. I don't know. I'm looking at the metagame. I think Dredge is one of the Bug. I don't want to play against Bug. Bug is probably the worst matchup that I'm looking at. This deck does not look good against Bug. I can't imagine that I can really fix it in these colors. I feel like I would want to be blue-white if I wanted to beat Bug. And that's a thing you can do too. The best part of this deck is like a 50 card stock, and then 10 cards you can do whatever the hell you want with. Now, the number of cards you can do whatever the hell you want with got smaller now that you're pretty much required to play stock ups. But like the rest of this, like you can play. So like, I have some time. We're gonna see if we top 8 or not. You can build Lurrus PO like this, which is the way we did it. You can build Lurrus PO. Here's a version that Max did with Lavinias and portable holes. Totally reasonable. Here's an Unlucky Monkey style with like less POs, less stock ups, more control with like Flames of Anor, 4 trainers, trying to outvalue your opponent, playing all the colors except for green. Here's a Wessel Blue White version that's playing like some other interesting cards like Balance, Savine's Reclamation, only 1 portable hole. You can basically do whatever the heck you want. And then here's like the Gusty version is like super like on the control side of things with 3 Bowmasters, less combo oriented stuff. So I think the coolest part about Lurrus combo right now is stock up seems to have revitalized the interest in the deck. And of course the deck's power, and there's a lot of room to make this fit not only however fits the metagame, but also your playstyle. So really cool spot. A 4-2 is not bad. I'm not upset about this. I just think that I wish I had played a little bit better, and I'm definitely leaning towards a deck like this. I don't know which colors, what exactly it'll look like for the showcase. Yeah, I could play a Remora if I felt like Remora hit enough matchups. Do I feel like Remora hits enough matchups? One of the worst parts about Remora in the current metagame is I don't like Remora against the control deck. Showcase is next weekend. I actually don't think Remora is that good against this deck, because if you play a Remora and your opponent just like slams a Bowmaster or Frog, like it's just not good. So like you're playing Remora more for Jewel, for the mirror, and for I guess Raker, but like also, yeah, I guess Raker Remora is probably pretty good against Raker too. So if you have enough Raker and mirror matches and Jewel, then Remora makes sense. But it's really weird because yesterday Lurrus control went really, really down in meta share. But if I had to guess, I think people will come back to playing Lurrus control for the showcase, especially other format grinders. But maybe if they like see the 7-day metagame or whatever, and they see Lurrus PO as the most played, maybe they'll choose to play Lurrus PO over Lurrus control. I'm not really sure. So I think there's lots of choices, and I don't have all the answers. I just have thoughts. If you want to hear more thoughts, more videos like this one every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the YouTube channel, I will see you then.